Alright guys, welcome to episode 2 of batch 1. Now the next day, we're getting this batch heated back up. Need to see if it's going to produce any more fumes. I'm going to add a little more nitric acid to it. Just to get that charge up and going. And yeah, so let's add in some. So what's happening here is the nitric acid's attacking and it's dissolving those base metals, things like copper and silver, while leaving the gold behind. So as those metals dissolve, the material starts to break down and fall apart. And what we're really doing is just stripping away everything we don't want so we can isolate that gold and get it ready for the next stage of refining. And it really breaks it down even into fine powder, flakes, and fragile shells, which you hear here called the gold sponge or the gold flake, whatever. But yeah, so we're just literally stripping away, dissolving, and turning into liquid, into a silver nitrate solution, all those base metals that we don't want. And then those will be poured off over to here, and we'll be left with just pure gold. All right, we got this cooled down. Got some nitric here. Got to get rid of a little bit. All right, let's pour this liquid off. Need to get all this liquid off of here. There's a fine black powder that's in this liquid that we don't want to lose. That's gold. At least as much as possible. As you can see there, that's gold foils. So you get it cleaned up here, let that settle. Let that settle for a few minutes and then we'll pour off that liquid as well. You can see how it's kind of a dark, almost purplish color. That's colloidal gold. So that's gold that's so fine that it floats, and it's almost like a well, it isn't almost, it is like a particulate gold. Alright, so we let this settle for a bit. See how it looks. Well, it's still pretty cloudy. Alright, we're gonna have to pour this off either way. Let's get some more. Actually, instead of running it through that, I'm going to run it through a Büchner filter. Let's get our suction up and going. Alright, so I'm pretty sure this is just colloidal gold, is what this color is that we've got here. Really fine gold. Don't like the red in there though. Makes me feel like there was some steel or something that got in there. Alright, so we have this material. We're going to set this off to the side here. We'll deal with that more later. I'm going to let that settle for a while, see if that can settle down, settle to the bottom. Alright, so I'm going to add in about 300 milliliters of hydrochloric acid. So we already have some nitric acid from earlier when we were doing our nitric boil. So we're going to get a little bit of heat going. And we're going to add in just a little bit of nitric acid. Not much. Put that up. Now you can see it's starting to bubble, produce gas. That's it dissolving the gold, and you can actually see the gold particles. I don't know if you can see it on camera that well. I hope you can. Try and work on that. But it's actually dissolving the literal gold into what's known as chloroauric acid. So it's turning the gold into a liquid acid. Alright guys, we're pretty much done here with this Aqua Regia run. I've been running it for a while. I think we've got everything in solution here. Now we just need to get it cooled down, filtered out. We'll move on to the next steps. Alright, I went ahead and put our material up on the magnetic stir. We're going to add some distilled water to it to dilute it and cool it down. Alright. Alright, so we're going to get this Büchner filter together here. It's kind of a little trick to this. Like, you want to make it like a coffee filter. From what I can tell, this new suction pump I got has been pretty strong. So let's see how this goes. We want to be careful. We've got our overflow bottle in the back. Now you can see up in the top there is some silver. So that's going to be from the silver chloride. When we added in that distilled water, it probably got contaminated because I had the lid of it open. I'm going to take this off the vacuum. We will set that aside for later processing. But as you can see, there's a lot. I don't want to get you out of focus. There's a lot of silver chloride in that. Alright, so we're going to pour this off this clean beaker here. We're going to run it through again. Alright guys, we're finally ready for the best part of this. We're going to do the SMB drop. Here we go. Now if you see that brown dropping out of this, that's the gold. That's actual gold dropping into a brown, turning into a brown powder. Get it here up on the spinner. You see that brown cloud in there moving about. That is that's gold. All right, we've got that stirred up pretty good. Now it's just time to let it settle. This is the overnight waiting game. We just let it kind of relax. Alright guys, welcome back to AMC Metals. We are here right at the final stretch, ready to pull this liquid off of this gold, dry it out, and then we're going to melt it down and pour out a pure gold bar. So yeah, let's get going. The first thing we need to do here, we need to get this liquid pulled off of this gold. I've tried it in the past to pour it off. Hasn't worked out well. So don't recommend that. It just ends up disturbing the powder. You end up, it floats, and you end up with gold not where you want it to be. So we're going to use this pipette here I have hooked up to our vacuum pump there in our overflow container, our vacuum suction container. Try and get this started here, and we're just going to pull. And turn down our suction when we get a little closer here. I don't want to draw up any of our gold. Oh, and I gotta remember that we only have so much room in our beaker, so I'm going to shut that off now. Let me get that emptied out here, and then we'll finish off the rest. All right, guys, we got it pretty hot here. You can see as I spin it around there, see how it's staying nice and clumped together. That's nice and hot. That's really what we're looking for. Let's get this rinsed with some distilled water. Let that heat up there, get that distilled water nice and hot, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so here we are. We've pour off this distilled water here. See all that gold down there. So just want to get it rinsed clean. We want to get all the hydrochloric acid off of it. All right. All right, guys, that is pure gold in there. So we're gonna go ahead and get it up on the heat. All right, guys, we've got the gold up on heat here. We're just gonna draw some of this fluid out, and we're just gonna get the rest of this liquid out of here so we can go ahead and dry this up. All right, guys, so you can see here we've got our gold down in the bottom of our little pan here. We just got it pretty well dried up. Get it all collected, the cookie here. All right, I'm gonna get it into this little crucible. Make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. All right, there we go. Got that little a little bit of gold, and let's get it getting hot. All right, so we have some pure gold powder in here. Just getting it melted down. We're gonna get it ready to pour it into a bar. Got to get it nice and hot, get it melted down into a nice little dot, and we'll pour it out. I don't think we're going to have too much here. But we'll see what we end up with in the end. All right, we're getting pretty close here. Get a little assistance. Oh yeah, metal's just about ready to liquefy. Throw a little borax on there. All right, now we've got it into a nice dot here, nice little bit. We need to make sure our mold is nice and hot. We're gonna have to do a little work here. Oh, it poured like a turd. All right, not a great looking pour. We'll re-pour it, not a problem. We can reheat that and pour it again. Main thing we want to look at is our color. Let's get it cooled off here. Oh, not bad. That definitely can do much better pour. Kind of looks like a tooth, don't it? All right, let's see. 4.4. All right, guys, so you're looking at it. That is a pure 24K gold. Well, I wouldn't call it a bar as of yet, but I'll melt it down, re-pour it, and we'll get it into a better shape at least. Get it looking a little prettier. Probably gonna hang on to this and clean up some other stuff. A little rusty since I haven't not done this in a while, and maybe we'll make a video on us cleaning up some of this other stuff and trying to get the rest of the gold back out of it. I was kind of expecting more than this, so yeah, 4.3, 4.2. Yeah, it's not very much. So definitely got it out, but I think we can do better. So